Hello, beautiful people of the internet. I am back once again to talk about something that has happened in Hollywood and specifically with regards to Marvel Studios. I want to tell you about my week. This week I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and as much as I enjoyed certain parts of it, my review will be coming out in the next week. I'm going to stay spoiler free for today. As much as I enjoyed that movie for the most part, there were still some real issues around the pacing and the writing and the story itself and the wider MCU. And as a result, you come away from those things and you think, yeah, it could be better still. And if you come out of that movie thinking, well, there's still no link to Kang, then you'd be well proven to be right because they have completely dumped Kang at this point. Marvel last night at San Diego Comic-Con announced that there will no longer be a Kang dynasty, a blessing for everyone. And whilst I do feel some sympathy for Marvel because they can't have seen what Jonathan Majors was going to do, they can't have predicted the way that he was going to behave and that he was going to get arrested for what he had done. But nonetheless, a terrible actor was dumped from Marvel, and now his storyline seemingly dumped from the MCU, with Avengers Doomsday being the announcement to replace that movie in the calendar. Now, whilst we are looking next towards the release of Agatha Harkness's TV show that no one will watch and no one will care about, whilst we look towards Captain Falcon's movie coming on Valentine's Day 2025, that again, no one really cares about a huge amount and is going to need to draw $1 billion worldwide to break even due to the amount of reshoots. Marvel have put themselves in an interesting position where they are back as the key conversation coming out of San Diego Comic-Con because they announced that Doctor Doom will get my words out, will for sure join the MCU in the near future with Avengers Doomsday coming out in 2025 before Secret Wars comes out in 2026. Now, the biggest piece of news was that they were straight into announcing the actor that is going to play Doctor Doom in this movie. Now, there was a lot of people in the crowd that were filming this, and it came out very quickly. And I was on Facebook this morning and wasn't really looking for SDCC news. You know, San Diego Comic-Con, as it happens every year, Marvel, DC, everyone tries to make big announcements that gets their fans excited and gets themselves back in the zeitgeist of the conversation. But I saw a post and it said, give me Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom right now. And I thought, that is so stupid. What a waste of time someone saying that. And then I went on Instagram and I went on Marvel Studios' page, and the actor that's been announced to play Doctor Doom in the MCU is, in fact, one Robert Downey Jr., who is best known realistically, and not just in the MCU, but worldwide, for his role as Tony Stark and Iron Man for 10 plus years in the MCU. The man who realistically kicked the MCU off with his brilliant first film, had a trilogy, and ended up being the pivotal character in the biggest movie franchise of all time. Well, he's going to make his return in Marvel's next big Avengers movie, Avengers Doomsday. And this was met with huge excitement, huge applause. Everyone is thrilled by the news that Robert Downey Jr. is set to return. And sorry, that will be in 2026, Secret Wars in 2027. I just double checked myself very quickly, so my dates were wrong a minute ago. But Avengers 5 now going to be Avengers Doomsday with Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU. Now, obviously, the last time we saw Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU, Robert Downey Jr. died in the final battle of Endgame. And whilst everything after MCU's Infinity Saga has been pretty much a disaster in terms of writing, storytelling, and universe building, with Loki Season 1, one of the first things to come after Marvel's Avengers Endgame, ruined the Infinity Saga by basically making it that Kang had written it and that there was no free will in the MCU. This is a big return to form in terms of casting and announcements for Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. And not only did Robert Downey Jr. return to the stage at San Diego Comic-Con, the Russo brothers, who of course famously made some of the best films, including Avengers Civil War and Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, they've returned to Marvel Studios and they will direct Avengers Doomsday, which again is a massive return to form for Marvel. Unlike Star Wars, Marvel have recognized the error in their ways. They have unveiled these things. They've unveiled a white male lead after two white male leads have led what will be their most successful movie in a very, very long time that isn't shared with Sony. I'm not forgetting Spider-Man No Way Home. And they've brought back two white male directors who are going to take point, and they are going to take the direction of what is realistically going to be the biggest project that Marvel have now, because everyone knows that Marvel is on life support at the moment. No matter how well Wolverine and Deadpool does at the box office, overall the MCU is still in an absolute state. And the fact that this can even happen, that Robert Downey Jr. can come back as a different character or a variant of Tony Stark that ended up as Victor Von Doom, is still a problem. The multiverse saga, the multiverse itself, has caused so many problems with characters not being able to die without having no repercussions because they can come straight back. We've seen that in Deadpool and Wolverine, and this is not necessarily a massive spoiler because you know that Wolverine's in the film, but the fact that you can go to another universe, find a Wolverine and team up with him for a whole movie, and that not really have a big impact, no mention of incursions, no mention of timelines being clashed or anything like that, but timelines now deleting themselves instead, and anchor beings, that creates a whole new raft of problems. But Deadpool Wolverine was a fun movie. Marvel has to get back to telling a long-term narrative, and the first Avengers movie that they will have done since Endgame is going to be the most important one. And like I say, Tony Stark, that's how well ingrained he is in the memory as Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU is a huge recruitment for them. You know, he's one of the best actors that they've had in the MCU, full stop, in terms of his range. Obviously, there's a lot of other projects that are still to come. The Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four are still set to release in the next couple of years, with the Fantastic Four starting filming this Tuesday. As of recording, that's 2 days away. Which, you know, is going to be hopefully a really interesting look at the Fantastic Four, the first time that Marvel's first family have appeared in the MCU in some capacity. We're still yet to see the full introduction of mutants since they were able to get a hold of the X-Men from the Fox deal. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen with Marvel, but this is their, like I said, I've go back because I've gone off on a tangent. They're on life support, and this realistically, excuse me, is their big opportunity to get back on track, have a long-term story, and have something that gets fans engaged again, not just with, excuse me, not just with cameos, not just with having people show up as variants of characters from across the multiverse. Instead, this is an opportunity to sell a long-term story with actors that are established, talented, and characters that people really care about. The Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, they are some of the best characters in comic book history. Can Marvel do the right thing and tell a great story with these characters? So, just to confirm, Robert Downey Jr., he's back in the MCU. He's not back as Iron Man, he's back as Victor Von Doom. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Apologies for all the coughing at the end. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you soon.